In certain situations, size really can matter. A big animal can be impressive, but a truly massive one can be absolutely terrifying. What if we told you that what you consider a huge animal might only be the tip of the iceberg? Here are the 15 biggest land creatures found on Earth. Number 15. Hercules, the largest liger. What do you get when you cross a male lion and a female tiger? There's no punchline to this joke. You get a liger, and a pretty big one too. Hercules is the largest liger in existence, and he lives at the Myrtle Beach Safari Wildlife Reserve in South Carolina. He's 131 inches long, 49 inches tall, and weighs a whopping 922 pounds. To sustain that heft, you'd need a fairly expansive menu, and Hercules gets it. He eats as much meat as the average 2-year-old weighs, around 30 pounds. He also drinks several liters of water every day. Ligers are not animals you'll find in the wild. They are the hybrid children of a tigress and a male lion, and normally grow much larger than their parents. To put it into relative terms, they're about 100 times larger than a house cat. You wouldn't want Hercules sleeping at the end of your bed, that's for sure. Number 14. World's largest raccoon. The average raccoon weighs between 14 and 23 pounds, and even at that weight, they look cute, chubby, and cuddly. At that weight, raccoons are by no means underweight, so you can only imagine what one above that weight looks like. Bandit the raccoon, who was born in 1994 and died in 2004, weighed nearly 75 pounds. At that weight, you'd be forgiven for thinking he spent too much time dumpster diving, but that's not the case at all. Bandit was born with a thyroid issue that caused considerable weight gain. When he was born, he was raised by a dog as one of her puppies, and was then cared for by a Pennsylvanian woman by the name of Deborah Klitsch. Given his considerable size and speedy weight gain, Bandit was named the world's fattest raccoon in the Guinness Book of World Records. Without the thyroid problem, Bandit would likely have been within a healthy weight range. Their diet consists of invertebrates, plant materials, walnuts, fish, bird eggs, nuts, and similar. Number 13. Largest polar bear ever recorded. The unfortunate reality of climate change is that polar bears are possibly smaller now than ever before. As the mercury goes up, the Arctic sea ice melts, and polar bears starve for months every year. Their primary prey are seals, but even the polar bear struggles to hunt them. As a result, polar bears are not only smaller than they've ever been, but are also not living as long. However, that's not to say there haven't been polar bears at the larger end of the scale. Most of them weigh up to 900-ish pounds and stand at about 4 feet 4 inches tall. The Beaufort Sea polar bear can weigh nearly 1,000 pounds. But in 1960, a huge polar bear was killed in Kotzebue Sound, northwestern Alaska, that made scientists at the time wonder if there were massive polar bears out there. This particular bear weighed over 2,200 pounds, around twice that of male polar bears in the world today. It was also measured at 4 to 5 feet in shoulder height. This polar bear towered above its smaller counterparts. While we're unlikely to see polar bears of that size today, that find was proof that at one stage, one of the largest polar bears ever to exist was found. Number 12. World's tallest horse. Farm manager Jerry Gilbert purchased 3-year-old Big Jake the draft horse when he was 3 years old. He wasn't all that unique or remarkable, even though he weighed 240 pounds when he was born and was quite a bit taller than other foals. But Jake didn't stop growing at 3 years old and went on to claim the title of the world's tallest horse. Big Jake is a Belgian gelding and stands at 20 hands without shoes or 82.75 inches. He was officially given the title of the tallest living horse in January 2010. As he skyrocketed to fame, hundreds of people have visited Smoky Hollow Farm in Poinet, Wisconsin, to catch a glimpse of this majestic creature. Jerry admits that life has been a bit busier since that coveted title. Believe it or not, Big Jake's parents were of average size, but Jake is anything but. And to cater to that great bulk, he eats a bucket of grain twice per day and at least 1 bale of hay daily as well. Alongside food, Jerry had to make sure his accommodation was tall enough for Jake as well. While Jake used to compete in draft horse showing competitions, he's now living a quiet life. He greets fans at events and hangs out on the farm with his horse friends. He also loves being the center of attention, making sure there are plenty of people around to scratch his neck and belly. Number 11. World's tallest recorded giraffe. Tall giraffe, duh, they're all tall. But surely there's one or more that are just a bit taller than the rest. You'd be right. While it's hard to know if Zulu, a giraffe at Folly Farm Zoo in Pembrokeshire, is the largest ever giraffe, he's at least the tallest ever recorded. And he's pretty tall. While there's no 100% accurate way to measure the extra stubborn Zulu, he just manages to tuck under his 20-foot tall enclosure. That means he's at least 19 feet tall, some 4 feet taller than the average giraffe. He also towers above the other 3 giraffes with which he shares his enclosure. Zulu's incredible height gives him a distinct advantage when it comes to reaching the highest branches, allowing him to enjoy leaves that other giraffes can only dream of. His long neck and legs make him a striking figure, and visitors to Folly Farm often stop in awe to watch him gracefully move around his enclosure. Despite his size, Zulu is known for his calm and gentle demeanor, often interacting with zookeepers during feeding times. The staff at Folly Farm have had to make special adjustments to his enclosure, including raising the height of feeding platforms to accommodate his towering frame. Zulu's unique stature has made him a favorite among visitors, with many traveling specifically to see the world's tallest recorded giraffe. To be that tall, Zulu also has to have the loft to go with it. And he does. He weighs 1.3 tons, which means if he doesn't want to do something such as having someone measure him, then you can't make him. There's no coercing or shifting this mammoth creature. The crew at Folly Farm are impressed with Zulu's height, but they aren't the only ones. The most common giraffe transportation specialists from the Netherlands had never seen a giraffe as tall, and they likely never will again. Zulu is truly one of a kind, and if he were in the wild, he'd have the ladies fighting for his attention. Now it's time for today's topic. A National Geographic documentary team has made a groundbreaking discovery while filming in a remote wilderness. They captured what may be the first ever footage of a super pack of wolves, led by a massive, unidentified wolf that has left experts stunned. The team, who has chosen not to disclose the exact location for safety reasons, described the leader as being twice the size of any known wolf species. The footage shows the enormous wolf moving with commanding authority, its piercing eyes and muscular frame dwarfing the other wolves in the pack. The pack itself, unusually large in number, seemed to follow the massive wolf with unwavering loyalty, suggesting it holds a unique and dominant role. Experts reviewing the footage are baffled. This wolf doesn't match any known species or subspecies, one zoologist stated. Its size and behavior suggest it could be a genetic anomaly or even a relic of an ancient lineage. The discovery has sparked global intrigue, with many questioning whether this could be evidence of an undiscovered predator or a rare evolutionary phenomenon. For now, the massive wolf and its super pack remain a mystery, adding to the enigma of the world's untamed wilderness. Number 10. Medusa, the longest snake. Reticulated pythons aren't known to be small snakes. They often average around 10 to 20 feet and are known as the world's largest snakes. But within that giant snake species, there's one in captivity that makes all other pythons look tiny. Medusa, the reticulated python, is 25 feet 2 inches long and weighs a whopping 350 pounds. She holds the current longest snake living in captivity title, and it takes 15 men to hold her at full length for measurement. Medusa's incredible size is a result of both her genetics and the care she receives in captivity, where she's provided with a controlled environment and a steady diet. Reticulated pythons like Medusa are non-venomous constrictors, meaning they kill their prey by wrapping their powerful bodies around it and squeezing until it suffocates. Despite their intimidating size, these snakes are generally not aggressive unless provoked or hungry, and Medusa's handlers describe her as calm and predictable. Her massive size and strength mean her enclosure is specially designed to accommodate her, with reinforced walls and plenty of space for her to stretch out. Medusa's presence at the haunted house has made her a local celebrity, drawing visitors from all over who are eager to see the world's longest snake in person. Her handlers also emphasize the importance of educating the public about snakes, using Medusa as an example to dispel myths and fears about these misunderstood creatures. While Medusa's size is extraordinary, reticulated pythons in the wild are facing threats from habitat destruction and hunting, making conservation efforts critical for their survival. Medusa is owned by Full Moon Productions Incorporated in Kansas City, Missouri. She has beautiful, grid-like skin, a showstopper appearance, and a big appetite. Her diet consists of deer, rabbits, and hogs that she gets twice per week, and she can eat a 40-pound deer in a single sitting. When Medusa isn't busy eating, she's a star. She lives at the edge of Hell Haunted House in Kansas City where people can watch her stretch out. According to her handlers, Medusa knows when it's showtime and makes sure she's on her best behavior and most extended length for everyone to see. Medusa may be the longest living snake in captivity, but she isn't the longest ever found. In 1912, a python was shot in Sulawesi that measured 32 feet 10 inches. However, it wasn't kept alive in captivity. Number 9. The largest rooster. Roosters can be pretty feisty and giant creatures, but they possibly pale in comparison to this enormous rooster in Kotzebue. At 2.79 feet tall from head to toe, he's about as tall as the average toddler. He also weighs 16.5 pounds, which is about 4 pounds heavier than the ordinary rooster. This rooster towers above the other chickens and roosters around him, and everyone who sees the rooster is intrigued. His sheer size and fluffy feathers make him look almost cartoonish, leading some people online to question whether the video was even real. Brahma chickens, like this giant rooster, are often referred to as the king of chickens due to their impressive stature and calm demeanor. Despite their intimidating size, they are known to be gentle giants, often getting along well with other chickens and even humans. Their thick feathering not only adds to their appearance but also helps them thrive in colder climates, making them a popular choice for farmers in northern regions. Brahmas are also relatively low maintenance, requiring less food than you might expect for their size, which makes them surprisingly economical to raise. This particular rooster's fame has sparked renewed interest in the Brahma breed, with many poultry enthusiasts now seeking to add these majestic birds to their flocks. Some breeders have even started selectively breeding Brahmas to achieve even larger sizes, though this has raised concerns about potential health issues. He first shot to fame after Kosovo poultry enthusiast group member Fatim Sajvataj posted a video of him on Facebook, which was subsequently reposted on Twitter. The internet went crazy. People wanted to know why he was so big, and the video racked up over 50,000 likes and 40,000 retweets. According to poultry health educator Emily Lamone, the giant rooster's breed plays a part in its size. The rooster is a Brahma chicken, which does grow larger than the other kinds. Emily says that most males average around 2.5 to 3 feet in height. However, they are a fluffy chicken and look far heavier and more robust than they actually are. Brahma chickens used to be the primary meat breed of chicken in America from 1930 until 1950. They are decent winter layers and originate from Shanghai. Number 8. Brutus, the largest living crocodile. Most crocodiles will have you in awe. They're as close as you're going to get to seeing a dinosaur, and they're terrifyingly large. But you haven't seen a really large dinosaur until you've seen Brutus. Brutus is a famous crocodile in the Adelaide River of the Northern Territory of Australia. He's around 80 years old, weighs 2 tons, and is about 18 feet long. Brutus is a common sight on river cruise tours, and cruise hosts will throw meat out to him so tourists can see him up close and personal. When Brutus lunges out of the water to grab the meat, his sheer size and power leave onlookers speechless, with some describing it as a once-in-a-lifetime experience. His missing leg only adds to his mystique, as it's a reminder of the harsh battles he's likely faced in the wild. Despite his age, Brutus remains an apex predator, showing no signs of slowing down when it comes to hunting or asserting dominance in his territory. Tour guides often share stories of Brutus' encounters with other crocodiles, emphasizing his reputation as the king of the Adelaide River. His diet isn't limited to bull sharks and kangaroo meat. Brutus is also known to feast on wild pigs, fish, and even the occasional bird that ventures too close to the water. The sight of Brutus leaping out of the water, his massive jaws snapping shut with incredible force, is enough to make anyone appreciate the raw power of nature. Many tourists leave the river cruise with a newfound respect for crocodiles, thanks to Brutus' unforgettable presence. His fame has even inspired merchandise and local legends, making him a true icon of the Northern Territory. Brutus is not only a massive croc, but he's missing a foreleg too. Most believe it's from a run-in with a shark, which could be true, considering he dines on bull sharks from time to time. This giant croc is the highlight of many travelers' trips, and the companies that run river cruises constantly field calls from people asking if they will likely see Brutus on their journey. Very rarely does this massive river monster miss a chance to dine on free kangaroo meat. Number 7. Largest bird in the world. The ostrich has many things to be proud of when it comes to points of difference. It's the only bird with 2 toes on its feet instead of 3 or 4, and it has the most enormous eyes of any bird at up to 2 inches in diameter. It would scoop up a few awards in a running race, too, for it can sprint at speeds of up to 44 miles per hour with strides of about 16 feet. They're not toddlers, that's for sure, but perhaps one of their most significant accolades is their size and heft. Ostriches are the world's largest bird, and they know how to throw their weight around. Pardon the pun. They use their giant wings, which have a span of around 6.5 feet, for a myriad of different tasks. They shade their chicks, cover their naked skin of their upper legs to conserve heat, and also prove quite useful in displays of mating as well. When they run, their wings also act as rudders for direction changing. They don't fly, but we're sure if they did, their wings would carry them a fair distance. They also weigh up to 320 pounds and 9 feet long and have both long necks and legs with round bodies. Females are brown, but the males are a fascinating mixture of black and white. You now know that ostriches are the largest bird found on Earth, but did you know people have been spreading lies about them? Contrary to popular belief, they don't bury their heads in the sand. Instead, they press their necks to the ground to blend them into their environment. This from a distance can make it look like their heads are buried. What isn't up for debate, however, is that these birds are massive and probably not animals you'd want to cross. Number 6. Biggest dog in the world. A regular-sized dog can be a lot of work, but imagine a giant one. Freddie the Great Dane is the tallest dog alive, standing at 3 feet 4.17 inches. Freddie lives in Leigh-on-Sea, Essex, with Claire Stoneman, his owner. She's had Freddie since he was a puppy and said he showed no signs of growing larger than the breed can normally expect. Freddie's height becomes even more impressive when he stands on his hind legs, reaching a staggering 7 feet 5.5 inches tall, making him taller than most humans. Despite his size, Freddie is described as a gentle giant who loves nothing more than cuddling on the couch with Claire. His playful personality and affectionate nature have made him a beloved member of the family, even if his size can sometimes be a challenge. Walking Freddie is no small task, as his long strides and boundless energy require Claire to take him out early in the morning to avoid overwhelming other dog walkers. Freddie's fame has made him a local celebrity, with neighbors and passersby often stopping to take pictures or say hello. Claire says that Freddie is surprisingly gentle with children and smaller dogs, always careful not to knock them over with his massive frame. However, his size does come with some health concerns, as large breeds like Great Danes are prone to joint issues and a shorter lifespan compared to smaller dogs. To keep him healthy, Claire ensures he gets regular vet checkups and a carefully balanced diet to support his massive body. Given his great size, Claire has to spend around $13,000 per year on food. He eats around half a pound of casserole stick, 0.7 pounds of liver, and 2.2 pounds of raw mince daily. If that's not enough, he's also chewed his way through 26 sofas and counting, with the help of his dog friend, Fleur. Regardless of his naughty habits and expensive diet, Claire wouldn't have Freddie the Great Dane any other way. Number 5. World's largest spider. As if the world's smallest spider wasn't terrifying enough, they had to go and create the world's largest. The world's largest spider, or at least the one we know about so far, is a Goliath bird-eating spider. Contrary to what the name suggests though, birds are not at the top of the list of their favorite things to eat. Out of all spiders that fall within this enormous spider's breed, the largest one ever found was in Venezuela in 1965. It was discovered by Pablo San Martin expedition members in Rio Cavro and had an 11-inch leg span. That's more than enough to cover a dinner plate. These spiders primarily feed on insects, frogs, lizards, and even small rodents, using their powerful fangs to inject venom that paralyzes their prey. Despite their intimidating size, their venom is not particularly dangerous to humans, causing only mild pain and irritation similar to a wasp sting. Goliath bird-eating spiders are nocturnal hunters, relying on their excellent sense of vibration to detect prey in the dark. Their hairy bodies and legs are covered in urticating hairs, which they can flick at predators as a defense mechanism, causing severe irritation to the skin and eyes. Females are significantly larger than males and are known to live much longer, with some reaching up to 20 years in captivity. These spiders are also surprisingly fragile, with their large size making them vulnerable to falls or injuries during handling. In the wild, they create burrows lined with silk to protect themselves from predators and harsh weather conditions. Their size and unique behaviors have made them a popular, albeit controversial, choice for exotic pet enthusiasts. In 1998, another giant Goliath bird-eating spider came into the picture. This time it was a pet. The 2-year-old spider was reared by Brian Burnett in Perthshire and was bred by Robert Bustard. It weighed a whopping 6 ounces. If you were to ever come across this spider, and most people will try not to, you would find them in coastal rainforests in French Guiana, Guyana, and Suriname. They've even been found as far away as Brazil and Venezuela. The average lifespan for this 8-legged nope creature is 10 years. Number 4. Blossom, the world's tallest cow. Blossom might look like any other Holstein cow at a distance. She has white with black patches or black with white patches and lived the good life in a paddock like many other cows. But Blossom has something that many other cows don't, a Guinness World Record. This cow from Orangeville, Illinois, was the tallest in the world. Blossom stood at 6 feet 4 inches tall and weighed 2,000 pounds. Her incredible height made her a local celebrity, with visitors often stopping by the farm just to catch a glimpse of her towering frame. Despite her size, Blossom was known for her gentle and friendly demeanor, often leaning down to nuzzle visitors or accept treats. Her owner, Patty Meads Hansen, described her as a gentle giant who loved attention and was always curious about her surroundings. Blossom's size wasn't just a spectacle. It also required special care, including a custom-built barn with higher doorways to accommodate her height. She had a hearty appetite, consuming more feed than the average cow, and her favorite treat was fresh apples. Blossom's unique stature also made her a favorite subject for photographers, and she was featured in several local and national publications. Her fame brought attention to the Holstein breed, highlighting their versatility and adaptability beyond just dairy production. Even with all the attention, Blossom remained a humble farm animal, enjoying her days grazing in the paddock and interacting with the other animals on the farm. She wasn't the most attractive cow by World Dairy Expo standards, but that didn't stop her from getting all the attention. Most people had never seen a cow as tall as Blossom, and they likely never will again. Blossom belonged to Patty Meads Hansen and had been raised by her father before her from 8 weeks old. She lived on the family farm in Orangeville ever since. Before she died at age 13 due to an irreparable leg injury, she was officially measured and entered in the Guinness Book of World Records. Her height may have set her apart from most cows, but Blossom enjoyed the simple things in life. Her scratches, oats, and chin rubs were at the top of her wish list every day. Number 3. Jeff, the world's largest rabbit. Continental giant rabbits have that name for a reason. They are giant. But there's one rabbit that sits at the top of the food chain as being the largest of all continental giant rabbits. Jeff, who's the size of a 7-year-old child at 4 feet 5 inches, has overtaken his dad Darius as the largest rabbit in the Guinness Book of World Records. Jeff is 18 months old and weighs 42 pounds. His daily diet consists of around 2.2 pounds of organic hay, sunflower seeds, 2 dog bowl-sized containers of barley, and broccoli stems. These rabbits are known for their gentle and friendly nature, making them popular pets despite their enormous size. Jeff's size and appetite mean he requires a lot of care, and his owners say he eats more in a day than most small dogs. Continental giants are also known for their long ears, which can grow up to 8 inches in length, adding to their impressive appearance. Their large size makes them surprisingly strong, and they need plenty of space to hop around and exercise. Jeff's owners have even built a custom outdoor play area to ensure he stays active and healthy. Despite their size, these rabbits are incredibly affectionate and enjoy cuddling with their owners, often acting more like dogs than traditional rabbits. The Edwards family says that raising such large rabbits requires a lot of patience and dedication, but the rewards are worth it. Jeff's fame has brought attention to the breed, with many people now considering continental giants as unique and lovable pets. His owners, Annette and Rob Edwards, who breed the giant rabbits, credit broccoli stalks for her size and health. The Edwards have been breeding large bunnies for over a decade and love how bright and full of character they are. They say that their bunnies get plenty of good food, exercise, and are even house-trained to sit on the couch and watch TV with them. When Jeff and the other rabbits aren't hopping around the house, they're hanging out in their $5, 100 double-glazed log cabin. Jeff may hold the title of the world's largest rabbit, but watch this space. Annette and Rob say Jeff's sister, 5-month-old Enya, already stands at 3 feet 3 inches and could break the 5-foot mark. Number 2. Biggest domestic cat. What do you do when your significant other wants a cat but you want a dog? You compromise and get a cat the size of a dog. Introducing the longest cat in the world, a Maine Coon from Italy called Baravel. Baravel became the longest cat in the world in 2018, at 3 feet 11 inches long. Baravel lives with his owners Edgar Scandura and Cynthia Tinarello of Italy. When he's not lounging around the home living in cat paradise, he's out and about with his owners and his buggy. Maine Coons are known for their friendly and sociable nature, making them excellent companions for families and other pets. Baravel, like many Maine Coons, is highly intelligent and enjoys interactive toys and puzzles to keep his mind stimulated. His thick, luxurious fur requires regular grooming to prevent matting, but his owners say he loves the attention and pampering. Despite his size, Baravel is surprisingly agile and playful, often chasing after toys or climbing onto high surfaces with ease. Maine Coons are also known for their unique chirping and trilling sounds, which they use to communicate with their owners, and Baravel is no exception. His large size and gentle demeanor have made him a local celebrity, with many people stopping to admire him during his outings. You might think it's unusual for a cat to be this large, but it certainly helps that Baravel is a Maine Coon. A Maine Coon, originally from Maine, is the largest cat in the world and is often known as a gentle giant. They have extra thick fur for insulation and generally stand at around 40 inches long and up to 16 inches high. Most Magas are about 9 to 10 inches tall in comparison. It's thought that Baravel and his relatives get their size from living in cold climates. They grow bigger to reduce heat loss, which would be true when you compare them to their equally large counterparts, such as the Norwegian forest cat. Some breeders also purposefully breed 2 large cats together to increase the likelihood of large offspring. Number 1. World's largest recorded rodent. If the sight of any rodent sends shivers up your spine, it's time to turn away. A small one could send you running for cover, but a large one could have you screaming in fear. Gary is the world's largest recorded capybara from the world's largest rodent species. He's a South American rodent that weighs 112 pounds and lives in Texas with Melanie Tippeldoes and Richard Loveman. Melanie and Richard fell in love with capybaras while on holiday in Venezuela. Upon returning home, they discovered a breeder in Arkansas and immediately decided to purchase one. Capybaras are semi-aquatic animals, which means they spend a lot of their time in or near water, and Gary is no exception. He loves lounging in his pool, often submerging himself to cool off during the hot Texas summers. Capybaras are also highly social creatures, and in the wild, they live in groups of up to 20 individuals, which might explain why Gary enjoys the company of the other animals on the property. Despite their gentle appearance, capybaras have large, sharp teeth that continuously grow, which is why they need to chew on tough vegetation to keep them in check. Gary's diet consists of hay, fresh vegetables, and the occasional treat, which Melanie and Richard say keeps him happy and healthy. They also note that capybaras require a lot of space and care, making them a challenging pet for anyone who isn't fully prepared for the responsibility. While this giant rodent may not be for everyone, Melanie and Richard believe they would surprise you. They say Gary is intelligent, affectionate, and not that much different from a cat or a dog. They've taught him to shake, turn in a circle, jump, and stand on his hind legs. Gary is also quick to socialize with other animals that the pair own. They have tortoises, rabbits, a cat, a dog, and a horse. While Gary chases the rabbits and can get annoyed with the tortoises, he's generally easygoing. However, Melanie and Richard say that's not the case with all capybaras. They say they can be aggressive animals, even if Gary isn't, and their teeth are sharp and can cause severe damage. For fun, Gary likes to educate children at the local schools and hang out in the above-ground pool they have for him at home. If you thought animals had to stick to the averages of their species, you'd be mistaken. These animals are enormous. Which one surprised you the most? Do you have an extra-large pet? Also, check out the other cool things appearing on the screen right now. See you next time.